Welcome back to another episode of the Fab Forums. So this week was initially in Ponies in the Smokies mode, was trying to get everything kind of tidied up and cleaned up for Ponies in the Smokies. I started off by finishing up those seats. Seats seem to turn out very nice. I'm pretty happy with them. Just got some pop rivets. Actually was gonna go aircraft rivets initially, but changed my mind at the last minute. And then got those things nice and coated, shark-eyed, yeah. So the next thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to concentrate back on the rear section. So initially I'd kind of had that thing mocked up, some of the tubing mocked up, but I wanted to make it removable, and the part that was mocked up hadn't been outfitted to be removable yet. So I ended up kind of cutting it apart, putting some inserts, and really getting that thing ready the way that it's supposed to be. here cranking away on this thing. The sad thing is that I thought I was cranking away to go to Ponies in the Smokies, and obviously because of all this virus stuff. So intake is still missing. Still got something special coming for this bad boy. Firewall is done and sealed. I've still got to make these filler panels here, but that's going to happen really soon. And then everything inside has been taken out. So if you haven't seen the inner structure in a while, yeah, it's basically like a double frame rail drag car setup on the bottom half. Got all the panels over here. Been kind of working on those a little bit. Everything needs to be rescuffed and sealed. So you can kind of see I've been kind of working on this panel, scuffing it up. That's the centerpiece, but where my like feet have been in and out of this thing and dust and whatever, they all need to be cleaned up. So working on those, and then ultimately in the end, they should look like the seats. So the seats are done for the most part. Rivets, it's got everything kind of riveted together. It's all scuffed and sealed. It's got a couple coats of shark hide on it, so it should be pretty durable. The only thing I got left to do on these things is make the frames for them, but I'm gonna let the seats hang out over here for a little while. And I ended up going pop rivet on this thing. Initially I was gonna go with some aircraft rivets, but ended up changing my mind at the last minute. So those won't go back in until I'm ready. Start putting this thing back together. I don't want to scuff them up or nothing. Gonna start working on the back section. Actually, I've already started working on the back section. So when I initially started this, I just had these tubes as one long piece. And as you probably just saw, I cut the ends off and then put some inserts in there, weld the insert to this section, and then that piece there will be welded to this tube up here. Basically, I'm gonna do the same thing for the lower. So I just gotta kind of bend some pieces that come in and up, kind of make that diffuser setup work. Plans are to work on that right now. Gonna start pulling out some tubing, get that bent. Yeah. Let's get this thing going. I've got time now. The entire body has been scuffed and sealed. I had Heather out here help me the other day. Scuffed all these little pieces that are left. There was a little bit of surface rust busting through on some of these tubes. She helped me sand that. I went ahead and shark hided it. The problem I had with this thing was that initially I coated it with a clear, just like a spray on clear, and it looked awesome. It was very durable, but for whatever reason, there was still some surface rust that popped through. I don't know if it was maybe something that started before I cleared it or what. But I think from here going forward, I'll just shark hide everything. The beauty of shark hide is when I weld or scuff something to work on it, I can take shark hide, just wipe it back when I'm done, and it all blends together. You can't really see where it stopped and started, so that'll be really good for me going forward. Weezer. Is it comfortable right there? So let me kind of explain to you my train of thought on putting these bars on this back section. Talked about it a little bit. Obviously these rounded top sections are for a lot of shape. I want it to be functional too for like rear impact. I'll probably brace this stuff for side to side. I'll probably triangulate it this way because I want to put a jack point in this. So within the diffuser itself, I'll probably have a jack point in here so I can just slide a jack up under this diffuser and then jack the entire car from that point. But the lower bars on this thing will come back and they'll kind of angle out and meet up with the lower part of this diffuser down here. So they'll kind of like go in and then straighten up. And that'll allow me to put sheet metal in there and make a true functional diffuser style tunnel. I kind of want this diffuser section to create a negative air void and pull suction off the radiator and kind of pull air out. So that's kind of the idea of what I'm going after here, along with looks, obviously. But I also would love to use some racing quick jacks on this thing at some point. If you're not familiar, if you ever go to like a NHRA race or really anything with some super high tech cars that are fast and they have these things that basically slide up underneath there, and they use like a hydraulic over or air over hydraulic style setup, and they have in this contraption basically lifts the entire car up, and then they can put like a safety in it and they can work on it, and then they remove the safety and the whole thing can be dropped back down. Those are called quick jacks, and at some point I'd love to have a set, kind of use them on a lot of vehicles, but I want to also maybe possibly use them on this vehicle. So to make that easy, what I want to do is I want to make the distance between the front rails. So if you see like these front tubes on this thing, they kind of come up here. If you'll notice, they are laying really close to the ground back here. But as they go forward, they kind of raise up and give some clearance, even though this thing's technically laying on the ground. So it'd be enough room to put a quick jack underneath this and lift it at this point. And so what I want to do to make things easy is I want to make the distance between this tube and that tube the exact same as the distance between this tube and that tube. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Those quick jacks, when you build them or you order them, you kind of order them with the spacing for the lift points. You know, you give them a dimension. For this particular vehicle, it's going to be 20.5 inches. So if I kind of order them or I build them like that, in theory I could just slide one up under the front. It's going to line up with those two tubes for the front section. The back one will be exactly the same way, and then they're all tied together. You hit the button or whatever, the whole thing goes up in like 5 seconds. You can lift the whole thing off the ground. So don't know that I'll ever use them actually, but if I do, I want to make sure that I build it that way, and it just makes sense for them to actually be that way anyway. So why not use that exact same dimension just to make sure that it's going to work. So I've already cut 2 tubes in length. They're overcut a little bit. I've got a bend point on them. I want to bend in the exact same place. So we'll notch them and then we'll start bending them until we line up with those marks that we've made that match the front. right, there you go. You kind of get an idea of what I'm going after. Big diffuser, obviously. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I like the way it looks though. You can kind of see how that's gonna play out. And very soon, as soon as I get those kind of notched and put in place, I'm gonna start skinning this rear section, put the tag section in there. I've actually got nice official tag brackets for it, maybe even some tag lights. So, yeah. Anyway, as always, thank you for joining me. Go check out the updated Ponies in the Smokies dates. Love to see you guys there. Got a bunch more dates I'm gonna be posting. Gonna be doing probably the Cherokee Rodders show in the fall. Gonna post that very soon. Bunch of stuff going on. I want to travel this year. I've said that before. I want to bring this thing with me, or other things depending on what kind of show it is. I want to see you guys. So you can go check the Facebook for the events. Did a big live stream last night for an hour, me and the wife. If you haven't seen it, maybe interesting to you, I don't know. Go check it out. And also gonna be bringing you guys, I've got an idea for Friday Fool videos. Not really the same exact thing, but I had this idea of maybe bringing back, going back through all the tools from the very first one. So kind of revisit every tool starting at number 1. And kind of let you know my thoughts on how I feel about that tool currently. If I still love it, if I love it even more now than I did before, if there's something I would change or order differently, everything. We're gonna start at 1, we're gonna go all the way through probably all 100 of them. There's a couple in there that I didn't really care for. I may skip those, but I felt like I get a lot of questions about some of the older tools, if I still like it, that sort of thing. So may bring all of those back in a different format, kind of revisit every one of them, show you the tool again. And so kind of bring back It's Friday Fool, except for that I won't call that. It'll probably be on like on a Tuesday. Gonna continue to bring Bibbster videos to you on Friday. All right, I think that's it. Anyway, I hope everybody's well out there. I know this virus thing's going around. Don't freak yourself out, but take it seriously. Stay well. Take care of yourself. Just like everything else, it will pass. As always, thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Go do work, son.